ध्येयात्मा विशिष्टशिष्टकृच्छुचिः सिद्धार्थः सिद्धसङ्कल्पः सिद्धिदः सिद्धिसाधनः वृषाही वृषभो विष्णुर्वृषपर्वा वृषोदरः वर्धनो वर्धमानश्च विविक्तश्रुतिसागरः सुभुजो दुर्धरो वाग्मी महेन्द्रो वसुदो वसुः नैकरूपो बृहद्रूपः शिपिविष्टप्रकाशनः ओजस्तेजोऽब्जुदिनरप्रकाशात्मा प्रतापनः वृद्धस्पष्टाक्षरो मन्त्र श्रीनिधि श्रीविभावनः श्रीधर श्रीकर श्रेय श्रीमान् लोकत्रयाश्रयः स्वक्षस्वङ्गशतानन्दो नन्दिर्ज्योतिर्गणेश्वरः विजितात्मा विधेयात्मा सत्कीर्तिश्चिन्न संशयः उदीर्णः सर्वतश्चक्षुरनीशः शाश्वतस्थिरः भूषयो भूषणो भूतिर्विशोकः शोकनाशनः अर्चिष्मानर्चितः कुम्भो विशुद्धात्मा विशोधनः अनिरुद्धो इतीदं कीर्तनीयस्य केशवस्य महात्मनः नाम्नां सहस्रं दिव्यानामशेषेण प्रकीर्तितम् य इदं शृणुयान् नित्यं यश्चापि परिकीर्तयेत् नाशुभं प्राप्नुयात् किञ्चित् सोमुत्प्रेह च मानवः वेदान्तको ब्राह्मणः स्यात् क्षत्रियो विजयी भवेत् वैश्यो धनसमृद्धः स्यात् शूद्रः सुखमवाप्नुयात् धर्मार्थी प्राप्नुयात् धर्ममर्थार्थी चार्थमाप्नुयात् कामानवाप्नुयात् कामी प्रजार्थी चाप्नुयात् प्रजाम् भक्तिमान् यः सदोत्थाय शुचिस्तद्गतमानसः सहस्रं वासुदेवस्य नाम्नामेतत्र कीर्तयेत् यशः प्राप्नोति विपुलं याति प्राधान्यमेव च अचलां श्रियमाप्नोति श्रेयः प्राप्नोत्यनुत्तमम् न भयं क्वचिदाप्नोति वीर्यं तेजश्च विन्दति भवत्यरोगोद्युतिमान् बलरूपगुणान्वितः रोगार्तो मुच्यते रोगात् बद्धो मुच्येत बन्धनात् भयान्मुच्येत भीतस्तु मुच्येतापन्न आपदः दुर्गाण्यतितरत्याशु पुरुषः पुरुषोत्तमम् सुवन्नाम सहस्रेण नित्यं भक्तिसमन्वितः वासुदेवाश्रयो मर्त्यो वासुदेवपरायणः सर्वपापविशुद्धात्मा याति ब्रह्म सनातनम् न वासुदेव भक्तानामशुभं विद्यते क्वचित् जन्म मृत्युजरा व्याधि भयं नैवोपजायते इमं स्तवमधीयानः श्रद्धा भक्तिसमन्वितः युत्तर्यं न लोभो न शुभामतिः भवन्ति कृतपुण्यानां ससुरासुरगन्धर्वं सयक्षोरगराक्षसं जगत्वशे वर्ततेदं कृष्णस्य सचराचरम् इन्द्रियाणि मनोबुद्धिः सत्त्वं तेजोबलं धृतिः वासुदेवात्मकान्याहुः क्षेत्रं क्षेत्रज्ञ एव च सर्वागमानामाचारप्रथमं परिकल्पते आचारप्रभवो धर्मो धर्मस्य प्रभुरच्युतः ऋषयः पितरो देवा महाभूतानि धातवः जङ्गमाजङ्गमं चेदं जगन्नारायणोद्भवम् योगो ज्ञानं तथा साङ्ख्यं विद्या शिल्पादिकर्म च वेदाशास्त्राणि विज्ञानमेतत् सर्वं जनार्दनात् एको विष्णुर्महद्भूतं पृथग्भूतान्यनेकशः त्रीलोकान् व्याप्य भूतात्मा भुङ्क्ते विश्वभुवव्ययः इमं स्तवं भगवतो विष्णोर्व्यासेन कीर्तितम् पठेद्य इच्छेत् पुरुषः श्रेयः प्राप्तुं सुखानि च विश्वेश्वरमजं देवं जगतः प्रभुमव्ययम् भजन्ति ये पुष्कराक्षं न ते यान्ति पराभवम् न ते यान्ति पराभवम् ओन्नम इति अर्जुनोवाच पद्मपत्रविशालाक्ष पद्मनाभसुरोत्तमा भक्तानामनुरक्तानां त्राता
Hello. Yeah, mic testing. A very good morning to you all. Thank you everyone for joining us for this condolence meet today, this morning, organized by Professor KP students and Power Research and Development Consultants Private Limited. As we all know, Professor KP has left us for heavenly abode on 16th of January. We are here today to honor and give tribute to the departed divine soul of our beloved professor. We are here to share our sweet memories, thoughts, and pray for Sadgati of the departed soul. Let us begin the program by observing silence for a minute, condoling the sad demise of our beloved Professor KP. Yeah, please be seated. Master Abhay Mukund is the professor's most loved grandson. He looks just as a replica of Professor KP. We will have him right now here. Professor was very glad and proud about Abhay Mukund's Veda Patana, the way he did Vedic recitations with a clear accent and pronunciation. Since he is pursuing his bachelor's in physics at renowned institute BIT Mesra, Jharkhand, he is unable to be present physically here. He has sent a video recording of his Vedic recitations. We would like to play that now. Let's put it on. Here we go.
ॐ सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सहस्रशीर्षं देवं विश्वशम्भुवं विश्वं नारायणं देवम् अक्षरं परमं पदं विश्वतः परमान् नित्यं विश्वं नारायणगं हरिं विश्वमेवेदं पुरुषस्तद्विश्वमुपजीवति पतिं विश्वस्यात्मेश्वरगं शाश्वतगं शिवमच्युतं नारायणं महाज्ञेयं विश्वात्मानं परायणम् नारायणः परो ज्योतिर्नारायणः परः नारायणः परब्रह्मं तत्त्वं नारायणः परः नारायणः परो ध्यानं नारायणः परः यच्च किञ्चित् जगत् सर्वं दृश्यते श्रूयतेऽपि वा अन्तर्बर्हिश्च तत्सर्वं व्याप्य नारायणस्थितः अनन्तमव्ययं त्वमिगं समुद्रे तं विश्वशम्भुवम् पद्मकोशप्रतीकसगं हृदयं चाप्यधोमुखम् अधो निश्चावितस्यान्तो नाभ्यामुपरि तिष्ठति ज्वलमालाकुलं भाते विश्वस्यायतनं महत् सन्ततकं शिलाभिस्तु लम्बत्याकोशसन्निभं तस्यान्ते सुशिरगं सूक्ष्मं तस्मिन् सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितं तस्य मध्ये महानाग्निर्विश्वाचैर्विश्वतो मुखः सोऽघृभग्भिर्भजं तिष्ठन् नाहारमदरः कविः तेर्यघूर्ध्वमधाश्वाये रश्मयस्तस्य सन्तता सन्तापयति स्वं देह मापादतलमस्तकः तस्य मध्ये वह्नि शिखा अनेयोर्ध्वाव्यवस्थितः नीलतो यदमध्यस्थ विद्युल्लेखेव भास्वरः नीवारशोकवत्तन्वी पीताभास्वात्प्रणोपमा तस्या शिखाया मध्ये परमात्मा व्यवस्थितः सा ब्रह्मसश्विस्व हरिस्तस्येन्द्रसोऽक्षरः परमस्वाट्.
Yeah, thank you. Well, let's move further. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege that Mr. Vidwan Vishwas Nilguni is with us today. Hailing from musician's family, Vidwan Vishwas Nilguni completed MA in music with the first rank in Sri Vidya University. He learned Carnatic music from many illustrious musicians such as Vidwan K.R. Shanta, who was a renowned violinist from All India Radio of our Mangalore branch, late Vidwan D.N. Gurudat, faculty of INR College of Music, late Professor T.S. Rama, retired HOD at APS College and Jain University, Bangalore, top-ranking AIR vocalist, and he had special training from Vidwan N.S. Krishna, Mridanga and Ghatam Vidwan on Thala aspects. Vidwan Vishwas has performed in several sabhas. Currently, he runs a Sadguru Sangeeta Shale and has been training many students in the school. He is a composer who composed more than 300 compositions in various languages that includes Kannada, Sanskrit, and Telugu. With all these achievements, you will be surprised to hear that he is working as a regional payroll manager at Oracle Bangalore. Ladies and gentlemen, I am glad and honored to invite Vidwan Vishwas ji to the dais to conduct the program. Please, sir.
गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः अखण्डमण्डलकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरम् सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्च सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति डुक्रं करणे भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते मूढजहीः धनागमतृष्णा कुरु सद्बुद्धिं मनसि वितृष्णां यल्लभसे निज कर्मोपतौ यल्लभसे निज कर्मोपतौ वित्तौ तेन विनोदय चित्तौ भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते यावद्वित्तो पार्जनसक्तः तावन् निज परिवारो रक्तः यावद्वित्तो पार्जनसक्तः तावन् निज परिवारो रक्तः पश्चाज्जीवति जर्जरदेहे पश्चाज्जीवति जर्जरदेहे वार्तां कोऽपि न पृच्छति गेहे वार्तां कोऽपि न पृच्छति गेहे भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते मा कुरु धन जन यौवन गर्वं हरति निमेषात् काल सर्वं मा कुरु धन जन यौवन गर्वं हरति निमेषात् काल सर्वं मायामयमिदं अखिलं हित्वा मायामयमिदं अखिलं हित्वा ब्रह्मपदं तं प्रविश विदित्वा ब्रह्मपदं तं प्रविश विदित्वा भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सुरमन्दिरतरु मूलनिवासः शय्या भूतल अजिनौ वासः सुरमन्दिरतरु मूलनिवासः शय्या भूतल अजिनं वासः सर्वपरिग्रह भोगत्यागः सर्वपरिग्रह भोगत्यागः कस्य सुखं न करोति विरागः कस्य सुखं न करोति विरागः भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीत भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीत गङ्गाजललव कणिकापीत सकृदपि येन मुरारिसमर्च सकृदपि येन मुरारिसमर्च क्रियते तस्य यमेन न चर्च क्रियते तस्य यमेन न चर्च भगवत् भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनं इह संसारे बहुदुस्तरे इह संसारे बहुदुस्तरे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते गेयं गीता नाम सहस्रं ध्येयं श्रीपतिरूपमजस्रं गेयं गीतनामसहस्रं देयं श्रीपतिरूपमजस्रं नेयं सज्जन संगे चित्तं नेयं सज्जन संगे चित्तं देयं दीनजनाय च वित्तं देयं दीनजनाय च वित्तं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते अर्थमनर्थं भावय नित्यं नास्ति ततः सुखलेशसत्यम् अर्थमनर्थं भावय नित्यं नास्ति ततः सुखलेशसत्यं पुत्रादपि धनभाजं भीतिः पुत्रादपि धनभाजं भीतिः सर्वत्रैषा विहितामृतिः भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते गुरुचरणम्बुज निर्भर भक्तः संसारादचिराद्भवमुक्तः गुरुचरणम्बुज निर्भर भक्तः संसारादचिराद्भवमुक्तः सेन्द्रियमानस नियमदेवं सेन्द्रियमानस नियमदेवं द्रक्ष्यसि निजहृदयस्थं देवं द्रक्ष्यसि निजहृदयस्थं देवं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति डुक्रूकरणे भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते गोविन्दं भज मूढमते ತನುವು ನಿನ್ನದು ಮನವು ನಿನ್ನದು ತನುವು ನಿನ್ನದು ಮನವು ನಿನ್ನದು ಎನ್ನ ಜೀವನ ಧನವು ನಿನ್ನದು ತನುವು ನಿನ್ನದು ಮನವು ನಿನ್ನದು ಎನ್ನ ಜೀವನ ಧನವು ನಿನ್ನದು ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನವನೆಂಬ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ಋಣವು ಮಾತ್ರವು ನನ್ನದು ತನುವು ನಿನ್ನದು ಮನವು ನಿನ್ನದು ತನುವು ನಿನ್ನದು ಮನವು ನಿನ್ನದು ನೀನು ಹೊಳೆದರೆ ನಾನು ಹೊಳೆವೆನು ನೀನು ಬೆಳೆದರೆ ನಾನು ಬೆಳೆವೆನು ನೀನು ಹೊಳೆದರೆ ನಾನು ಹೊಳೆವೆನು ನೀನು ಬೆಳೆದರೆ ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಹರಣದ ಹರಣ ನೀನು, ನನ್ನ ಮರಣದ ಮರಣವು, ನನ್ನ ಮರಣದ ಮರಣವು. ತನುವು ನಿನ್ನದು ಮನವು ನಿನ್ನದು, ತನುವು ನಿನ್ನದು ಮನವು ನಿನ್ನದು. ನನ್ನ ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀನೆ ಯುಕ್ತಿ, ನನ್ನ ಹೃದಯದಿ ನೀನೆ ಶಕ್ತಿ. ನನ್ನ ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀನೆ ಯುಕ್ತಿ, ನನ್ನ ಹೃದಯದಿ ನೀನೆ ಭಕ್ತಿ. ನೀನೆ ಮಾಯಾ ಮೋಹ ಶಕ್ತಿಯು, ನನ್ನ ಜೀವನ ಮುಕ್ತಿಯು, ನನ್ನ ಜೀವನ ಮುಕ್ತಿಯು. ತನುವು ನಿನ್ನದು ಮನವು ನಿನ್ನದು, ಎನ್ನ ಜೀವನ ಧನವು ನಿನ್ನದು. ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನವನೆಂಬ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ಋಣವು ಮಾತ್ರವೇ ನನ್ನದು. ತನುವು ನಿನ್ನದು ಮನವು ನಿನ್ನದು, ತನುವು ನಿನ್ನದು. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Thanks for a wonderful soothing prayer by performance by Vidwan Vishwas ji. Thank you very much. And well, we will have opening address by none other than Dr. Nagaraja. Dr. Nagaraj knows, needs no introduction, but still I'm doing it as a formality today. Dr. Nagaraj has been the pet student of Professor KP, and he has had quite a long association of over 35 years with the professor. He is among the successful entrepreneur, being the founder, managing director of Power Research and Development Consultants Private Limited. And he stands tall in the power systems industry in India under the leadership of and mentorship of Professor KP. He is the founder, managing director of PRDC, as I said. And PRDC, under his leadership, has developed one of the Asia's commercial grade enterprise power system solutions of its class, which no other company has developed. It is in use for 3 decades globally across several industries, including the mighty Power Grid Corporation of India Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite Dr. Nagaraj to make the opening address, please.
नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि, नैनं दहति पावकः, न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापो, न शोषयति मारुतः. तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेश्यन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनः तत्त्वदर्शिनः. I was associated with Professor KP almost about 38 years. First I joined Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. I got the admission in high voltage department. But there was an option to change, and within 1 week I changed to the electrical department. When we joined the M.Tech program, we need to select a mentor. I was told that my mentor will be Professor Parthasarathy and Tukaram. That's how actually I got introduced to Professor Parthasarathy in the way back, 1986 August. Never turned back. Association continued till he passed away on 16th of January. It is a great loss, not only to me, but to entire PRDC, the entire learning fraternity of institute, and also the faculty members and also the students. I would like to briefly talk about how our association started and then what Professor BSc National College of Engineering, BE, ME from IASC, PhD doctoral degree also from IASC Bangalore. He was a gold medalist, topper throughout his career, intellectual. He was speaking less. What I have seen in Professor is, if you want to learn something technically, you want to discuss, 5 minutes session would have become 50-minute session. But if you want to just like that go to professor, want to chit-chat something, 50-minute session will be just 5 minutes. He used to tell that, no, let us go, or you can proceed. He never discussed anything about outside the technical details. Analytical mindset. Even at the age of 84, he was able to solve the mathematical problems, equations. Electromagnetic transient analysis, which is actually very close to the protection engineers, including the equations, domain technology. He was always talking about equation solutions. He was not happy with the single balanced load flow analysis. He was trying to do the three-phase load flow analysis. That is what he did with his last student at PRDC, Veerabrahman Bhattani. At the age of 84, he was actually instrumental in writing a paper. Approachable. If you look at the expertise he had the expertise in power system, steady state, dynamic analysis, and also the transient analysis of the nanoseconds, 10 to the power of minus 9 in the power system, 10 to the power of minus 9 nanosecond transients. Protection hardware and software development. Aluminum industries, Trivandrum, Eastern Railroad, Proc devices, most of the places, the hardware development in the protection device, he was the mentor to them. Way back in 1992 or 1990, the parallel computing started at many places in India. One of that place was the CDAC, Param Computers, and then the most of the lab work for the development of that was at IASC Bangalore, under the guidance of Professor Parthasarathy. At the age of, after the retirement, he picked up C programming. Initially, we know that Fortran, that is what actually learned. But at the age, after the retirement, he picked up the C programming and C++ also. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಓದದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕಿವಿ ಹಿಂಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಬರೀದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಕಿವಿ ಹಿಂಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅವರು. Because we have to sit and do the coding, but if you are not able to find the problem, he never used to sleep. That's what I keep telling our engineers also today. If there is a bug in the program, you should never sleep. He used to call, by the time I leave his house, come back to the office, he would have called 3 times. Night, midnight, 12 o'clock also he used to call. If there is a bug in the program, he was telling you, check this, you should come. 2 plus 2 is always 4. He never compromised for 3.9 or 4.1 in the programming language. Dr. Shastri knows 2 plus 2 is always 4 we should get in the programming language. But sometimes we may get 3.9 or 4.1 in the programming because there are errors, but he never compromised for that. SCADA and EMS, he was the first to develop actually the SCADA and EMS at CDAC, and also the 4C computers. He was instrumental in developing this SCADA EMS. List of students. I always think that Professor Parthasarathy is like a Sparshamani. I don't know how many of you heard in the ancient Hindu philosophy, there was something called Sparshamani. Anything you touch to that Sparshamani, it was becoming gold. People used to call professor as PhD money or a doctoral money. These are the list of students. I might have omitted some people, but they're all the list of students, the direct students. The indirect students of professor are much more compared to what has been listed here. Can you see this? Cute face, smiley. I never seen professor in this. What it means is, he was always approachable. I have seen, for example, many people who thought that they will never do PhD, they approached us. That's why it's got to tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena savay. You approach professor, and then folded hand you ask him, sir, I want to do PhD. He used to direct, you go with Dr. Nagaraj or Dr. Balaraman or Professor Tukaram, your PhD will be done. That's what actually the confidence he had with his students. Publications, more than about 86. Just I wanted to did a Google search just 2 days back and then try to see what it shows. 2019, 2020, last paper he wrote was with Veerabrahman Batini. He is with Auckland now, University of Auckland. This is his publication. Look at the industries where he have worked. Today we talk about industry-academic interactions. Professor KP Lab was hub to utility consulting studies. Karnataka World Bank project, the entire team was sitting in KP Lab, not at KPTCL or KB. Entirely. Professor, everyone knows. Jagannath Gupta knows, Venkat Subbrao knows, Rudrappa knows. Everyone knows actually that the most of the studies in India were happening at IISc lab. Banerjee was there in OSCB. They had a very close interactions. CSC Calcutta, almost all the studies were done. 400 kV first line at UPPTCL, it was actually done under the leadership of Professor Parthasarathy. He was so humble, and he believed that actually like Gandhi, client is the God. I remember that actually, whenever the client came to our office, he was giving so much of respect. See, even same thing at IISc also. When the World Bank project was there, I don't remember one white person was there. Sorry to tell that. But actually, he was sitting on the professor's chair. Tukaram may be correct. Correct, sir? He was sitting at the professor's chair, and they were all sitting here and doing the KPTCL system studies World Bank project. Today, you might have more than about 100 power system study packages. But I tell you, KPDT power system analysis software distributed by All-Ind was the only software accepted in India by almost all the utilities, This is the greatness of actually the combination. It is something like Professor and the Tukaram combination, I tell you, it was something like actually a commander and a soldier. That's how the combination was happening and the programs were written. Professor KP was unique in recognizing the star performer. There are many that he had done. Just as an illustrative example with Liberty, and I want to take the liberty to Pandan. Dr. Pandan is there on the dais. What is that? Identify the talent. He has found in his lab Pandan, who had just completed the ITS certificate and joined the lab. Nurtured it so that Dr. Pandian was able to do AMIE sitting at IISc lab. Dr. Pandian wanted to do PhD in IISc. IISc cannot take actually with AMI qualification. He motivated Pandian to do MTech at SJC Mysore. He mentored him for his PhD. What it means is, Professor KP was able to identify the star performer. It's just an illustrative. Now he is the Chief Technology Officer at Tech Mahindra, very high position. What it means is, he was able to take the students along with him. This is the greatness of professor. Mentoring companies. We talk about industry-academia interactions now. Even now I see that in most of the academic institutions, only MATLAB simulation, Simulink simulation, IEEE paper publication, without trying to do the industry academic interactions, without taking the consulting work from the industries. But Professor KP lab, this was practiced meticulously. Ali, Neelakantan and team, they were coming and sitting in the IISc lab, Professor KP's lab, and almost all the hardware platforms that were developed at Alind started at IISc. MacMet, Dr. V.S. Shastri is there. He was closely associated with MacMet, giving the power system consulting. Proc devices, Shivaram and his team is here. IDEA, Dr. Ramanujam and team. Dr. Raghunath is also here. CST Instrument Jaipur, Vasudev Singh. We made actually one panel for Alind that was Anupam panel. Now we are talking about various relays, that all the relays functionalities was put in one panel. We were calling it that as Anupam panel in IISc lab. Anupam, extraordinary. Today we talk about startup companies. Professor KP lab was hub to startups. Proc devices, Shivaram and team, it was the hub to startups. He motivated to start a company in the protection field. Analytics by Dr. Sridhar, Dr. Srinath DAX, myself PRDC, Suresh informatics consultants. Can you imagine so many startups or the entrepreneurship getting motivated from KP's lab? This is what actually I talk about. I've also seen a unique combination. Professor Tukaram is there, Kincha is there, whether they accept or not. If my imagination is KP being a CTO, Kincha being a CEO of a company, DT being a chief programming officer, could have been one more Infosys, definitely. Okay, it could have been. That's a combination. That's what actually was able to bring lot of projects to the IISc during those periods. He was shying away from awards. I still feel now NPSC should have recognized him. He was not applying the award anyway, but he was instrumental in actually conducting the various programs at CBIP, Central Board of Irrigation Power Protection Conference at Bangalore. Exactly 1 year back, in 2024, we were able to convince Professor to accept the award under IEEE PS Bangalore Chapter Service Excellence Award, exactly 1 year back, last January. In fact, I feel that Professor didn't get the recognition because of that. IEEE PS Bangalore Chapter Excellency Award got the recognition because he accepted our award, even though we kept on asking him for so many years to accept the award. Parthasarathy. He was never a Sarathi, except for guiding the others. If you take the Sanskrit meaning of Sarathi, a leader and a guide, he was a true leader and a guide. Ocean, he was calm, he was calm. I will come back to that later. A companion, but he was never a charioteer. I think some of you here know that CPRI Sridhar is here. He used to ride him. Dr. Shanai, Dr. Raghunath, every day morning 9 o'clock, when I was doing my PhD, Dr. Raghunath was coming. I didn't know him. And evening taking back to Hanumant Nagar. Every day. He was coming with his hearing aid. If he was not able to come, with due respect to Dr. Shastri, what he was doing is, I was working in MacMet India for 4 years, 1988 to 1992, 4 years. At 4 o'clock, if no one else was there, like that Sridhar, Shanai, Raghunath, Daniel Prem Kumar from KPTCL, if they were not there, he used to call me, Nagaraj, why don't you come? We'll discuss. Therefore, I used to take an auto, go to IISc Bangalore, because I also never knew the two-wheelers, okay? It's the other side. Take the auto, go to IISc, discuss with him, drop him back at, and again discuss up to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock on the software development, various consulting work that we were doing at MacMet, go back. Finally, our own Appaji. That's why I tell you, even though his name had a Sarathi, okay, he was really a leader and a guide, never ride the vehicle, okay? That's I just wanted to tell. Doctor-student lineage. Just an illustrative example only. Like that, there are many lineages are there. This is simple, one example, just to tell that actually this Guru Shishya Parampara continues. That's what is required. Whatever the knowledge we have gained, we have to give back. In fact, I tell all my PhD students, if you have done the PhD, doctoral degree, and if you don't make one more student a doctoral holder, you are not going to do the justice for your doctoral degree. Professor Parthasarathy, Professor Gopal Rao, he never actually did his PhD at IISc, but under the guidance of Professor Parthasarathy. Professor APN, NI plus IISc Association under this one. Then Dr. Balaraman, he is here, NI plus PRDC Association. Then Dr. Chandrasekhar Atla from PRDC and Dr. Manohar PRDC. This is the chain. What I suggest is, let us continue this chain, very important. Identify the talent, identify the good students, give them the support so that they'll be able to continue this chain, it should never stop. Pujyaya Raghavendraya Satyadharmarataya cha bhajatam kalparukshaya namatam kamadhenuri. He was the believer of Rayaradina, Thursday. Thesis submission Thursday, comprehensive viva Thursday, paper submission also Thursday. He was never allowing people to submit on other days. Tender submission, if I had an opportunity, he was telling submit on Thursday. I don't know what is the coincidence. Journey to Heavenly Abode, Thursday, waited for Uttarayana. Uttarayana came, I think, on 14, but waited for Thursday. Yes. This is what actually Rayara, he is a great disciple. But he was secular. He never asked what is the caste of the student. Never, never. Even actually any helper, whoever goes from our office also, he never bothered. They were freely able to walk in his house. This is his greatness. Even though he came from the traditional Iyengar family, it never. Closing remarks I want to tell. Chita dhati nirjivam, chinta dhati jivanam cha, chita chintayor madhye bindumekam vishishyate. Somewhere he has got some mindset worrying. Not only now, from the beginning. Whether my PF will get renewed, whether my sign will be accepted at actually the bank. I don't know, some fear he had always in his mind. And whenever actually he wanted to convey something also, he used to call 10 people. In our office also he was calling, maybe initially he would have called Venkatesh, it was not, maybe after 5 minutes he would have called Dr. Balaraman, Within after 5 minutes, Anusuya, Appaji, with me in place, he was very good in as an escalation master. Today, in the programming, most of the officers, we have got actually the program manager. Okay, escalation matrix. His job is escalating. And with the due respect to Professor, he was always in the escalation matrix. Otherwise, this 88 would have been 108. He never had any other problems. What I suggest is, many of us are all getting old. Mamta may not accept that, okay? Actually, she may start fearing that people are getting old, okay? But what is important is, we have to keep moving. That's what the path he has given, and stop worrying. That's what actually we should try to appreciate. 2-3 things I want to tell. This is the award. You can see here actually how pleasing he was. This is just exactly 1 year back photo, at the age of 87. He had told me a few things. Don't tell no to banana. Whenever someone gives a banana, don't tell no. Always accept a banana. Okay, I don't know what day, but he was always telling that, don't tell no to banana. That's the one thing he was telling. He was a very fast eater. If there is a eating competition, definitely he would have won. By the time I started first saru, rice and rasam, he would have completed the curd rice. I had a privilege of sitting with him in most of the occasions, marriage or upanayam ceremony or whatever it is, because he never used to take sweet. Whenever the sweet came, he knew that I like sweet, he used to tell, you put there. Therefore, I always sitting beside him wherever I went. Whenever actually IISc you want to go all the way to Hanuman Nagar, Meena stores. He always liked the Meena stores, idli. I think people who are his rider, bringing him in the two-wheelers, they used to stop. He used to pay for it. He always used to pay for it. Okay? And that is the greatness of Professor. He is no more with us, but his guidance, his beliefs, his way of supporting whoever is in need should continue. That's what actually I feel is the greatness, the great condolence that we are going to do for the soul of Professor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Nagaraj sir. It was a really very nice opening meet with wonderful memories and very adorable pictures of Professor KP. Now we are most fortunate to have with us one of the earliest students of Professor KP, that is Professor Kincha. Dr. H.P. Kincha has over 5 decades of association with Professor KP. After completing bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Bangalore University in 1966, he did his master's in 1968 and doctoral degree in 1973 at Indian Institute of Science in the electrical department under Professor KP. From 1973, he has been with the institute as a faculty where he served as a distinguished professor. He was also the vice chancellor of one of the biggest universities in India, that is VTU, Vishveshwara Technological University, Belgaum. So he has to his credit over 220 international and national technical publications. So now may I request Professor Kincha to address us, please. Chair is there, if you would like to sit.
Good morning to all of you. I don't know what I have to add after Nagaraj spoke. The only things that come in front of me at this point of time are my association with Professor. I started at the institute in 1966 as a master's student. And he was my mentor, obviously appointed as mentor. I was his mentee. And then did my master's thesis under him along with Dr. F.S. Prabhakara, who was also there with him at that point of time. And the earliest memories that I get of him was, along with me, Dr. Ashok Kumar was there, and 4 of us going to NAL at Kodihalli and the other campus of NAL at night 1 o'clock for the computer timing that we got on the computer that was there at NL, 4K memory computer, and do the programming work for the project work that was required for the masters. And as Nagaraj sir said, the clarity and the requirement of the software at that point of time, when we used to get 2K free memory for us to write the program and start from the ABCD of computer on a paper tape computing, was the earliest memory that he used to. But he used to come with us. Not that he said, please go and do the work and come. No. He was with us always. From morning 1 to 3:30, that was the timing of the computer that we got on that machine, and come back home for the project. I don't recollect how I became a student. After MTech, Professor Ramchandra Rao, who was the chairman of the department at that point of time, called me and said, do you want to join for PhD? And I said, yes, I want to join for PhD. And then I chose Professor Parthasarathy as my guide at that point of time for my PhD. There was Professor Parthasarathy and Professor Anil Kumar working in the department at that point of time in the area of protection, and I started in that field of protection. I should confess that I was not that very good at mathematical stuff, but his guidance and his support in the lab that he gave me for my PhD work was something I will never forget. Whatever that learnings that have come in the power systems, you learn in masters and undergraduate a single line diagram and a power system, things that you do understand. But the real understanding that came was from 2 things. One was the work along with him and Professor Narayangar on the network analyzer that we had at this institution. And the system studies, as Nagra was telling, from almost all electricity utilities of that time in the country, including outside the country, Ceylon and others. I think that were the basic foundations of the power systems that we learned, and the support and the guidance that he gave me for my PhD work at that point of time. I do recollect at this point of time that I didn't do very well at my comprehensive viva at the PhD. I did average. I didn't do extraordinarily good or things like that. But the encouragement and the confidence building that happened afterwards was something I will not forget. I will not forget that. And that association continued as PhD student, finished PhD in 73. 1973 I finished my PhD. In 74 I went to Canada for 1 year for my sabbatical or post-graduation, post-PhD work. Even during PhD days, I was a student, but the freeness with which we could talk to him, that was something I will never forget. As a student, as a well-wisher, and also as a guide on the technical part of the subject, Sometimes I do remember, we were 4 of us, myself, Dr. Ashok Kumar and Dr. Kothari. These were and at that point of time also, felt in the afternoon, 3 o'clock, sir, today there is no mood to work. Let us go to a movie. And he used to come with us. And we went to a movie like this during a student days at the working hours of the institution also. Or sometimes till night, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, something is going on, it will go on. So the freedom of work, the freedom of trying to nurture you, nurture your talent, nurture your capability of working was always there with him. It's always there with him. I do remember some of these visits, going to Brigade Road and going to a restaurant first and then going to a movie and then coming back with him. Used to recollect meeting his father and mother at his house, always with loving affection, always with a glass of Bournvita or a cup of coffee. Never used to come back without anything from their house. The association afterwards continued because I became a faculty in 69 at the IISc and continued in the same department. And when I took my first class in the protection for the master students at the IISc, my first memorandum was Professor KP, because that is the first class I took from him on the protection side. Very raw teacher at that point of time, very raw. Understand the ABCD of protection at that time, and at the same time trying to do the teaching of the subject to the students. Difficult job. But the confidence was there. That even if I don't know the answer of any question that the student asks, I have somebody to go and ask and then give back the answer to the students. I had somebody to ask him and things. The association continued, and as KP said, he was a very introvert person. Never used to talk in a sense freely with other than the students, mentors, and his academic colleagues. Never used to be very open with them. And this group of 4, Ashok Kumar, Kothari, myself, and Professor KP, became the doyen of part system analysis studies in the country. And we used to get studies from almost everywhere in the country. The first distribution system study at Tamil Nadu, the first 400 kV line studies for UP, that is Ubra, Farakka, and Ramagundam. These were the first studies that were done, and then the Delhi distribution studies. And as Agraj said, the people from these organizations were sitting in our office, in the network analyzer room, and doing the analysis at that point of time, in the department. We recruited people for these organizations and mentored them at this point of time in our department. We used to do that. And whenever some people from these organizations will come for some talk other than the technical, he will say, Kincha, please go and do the talk. He won't take on that talk himself. He won't do that himself. He will say, you go and do the talk and things like that. And this was the same when we used to travel all the way to Patiala or to Jabalpur or to the other states, Delhi, for the studies, NTPC and things like that, for the studies. No lead. Kincha, you take care. You take care. I will be there with you. I will be there. That's what was his sentence always was. Always were. I remember once we were traveling to Patiala by the train, and I lost my suitcase on the train. It was stolen. And we were having on a trip of 6 days to Patiala and coming back. And the help at Delhi, help at Patiala, with that condition of just one pair of dress or 2 pairs of dresses that I bought in Delhi, and the care to be taken is something that etches in the mind, that always remains in the mind. These are silent things which happen, and these are silent memories which remain in mind. I'm just expressing it for the first time today. And this continued for quite some time. I think we were together. And in 1988, I was given the responsibility of handling the consultancy center of the institute. And from then on, I went on to build the SID at the institute, the Society for Innovation and Development. And then the association became a bit weak because I was involved in these activities of building up SID, the consultancy center, the IP center of the institute, and the related activities from 1988 onwards till almost 2005 or 6. And then I went to VTU as the Vice Chancellor for 3 years. But still, the mental space and the confidence that the mental space gave was always there. That unspoken bond, that unexpressed desire, that unmentioned relationship continued to flourish, and which was resulting in the telephone talks with him once in 15 days, once in 3 weeks or 4 weeks like this, and that continued. And that continued after my retirement and his retirement 2011 till 2024. That continued to be like this, We used to visit. In fact, he visited my house at the age of 87 years to see me when I was not well. And it's so great of him to come at that age to visit me at my house and then wish me well for my sickness. The instrumentality of an individual doing something in his life belongs to the guru that he has with him. And the instrumentality of whatever that I might have done in my life all belongs to him. His nurturing, his taking care of me, telling or not telling, that is a different matter, but his taking care of me. That was the one that probably will remain in my heart and my mind forever. I don't know, last few days before his death, last 10 days before he fell sick, he called me almost every day. And I don't know why he called me. Because earlier the calls were just once in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, either I call or he calls. That was the sequence of talks that we were having, or go and meet him at his Hanumantnagar residence. But last 10 days before he passed, he was admitted to hospital. He used to call me almost every day. And I felt bad about it in my mind. There is something not correct. Why is he calling me? Why is he doing that to me every day now? Bad in the sense that I felt something, that there is something not correct. There is something not good in him. And as Nagaraj sir said, his sense of fear about his insurance, his institute connections, his pensions, these are things that he was talking. And he was also talking about the age of the group of four with me. The age of group of four with me, Prabhakar, myself, Ashok Kumar and Kothari. And he used to talk with me about them and inquiring about them and wishing everybody all the best. I thought that was his way of giving blessings to all of us. And those blessings, I pray God will remain with us, with me, for all the time I live. Ever grateful, not much to speak, but the heart and mind will always be with him. Let God be with him wherever he is, and let his family have the strength to bear his loss. And also to all the well-wishers, students, academicians to whom he touched, will, I'm sure, remember him for his astuteness, for his intellectual abilities, and for his pursuits of greatness that he did. All the best. All the things that I can tell about him will be less. I will always remember him. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kincha, for having come over and expressed your thoughts and shared your memories. It was really wonderful. Thank you very much. And now we have with us Dr. Vyakarnam Anjaneya Shastri, popularly known as Dr. V.A. Shastri. Dr. V.A. Shastri did his Masters of Engineering from Indian Institute of Science. Professor K.P. was associated with Dr. Shastri as an advisor to Macbeth Engineering while he was leading the simulations division. Dr. Shastri is a leading Bangalore-based serial software entrepreneur and consultants with over astounding 50 years of professional experience in India and internationally. He was a director on the board of Infosys Technologies from 1990 to 1996, during which its turnover was hardly about 2.5 crores. Infosys is India's first multinational corporation, setting up their quality and productivity standards and regimes where Dr. Shastri's worked. He was a consultant to over 500 landmark companies in India and abroad, including PRDC. Through his 2 companies he has set up. Through the 70s and 80s, Dr. Shastri was responsible for execution of some of the India's cutting-edge software projects in process control and simulations. He has been responsible for building large and small computer-based operator training simulators for power and chemical plants. Dr. Shastri, besides being a technologist, he has also been a quite philanthropist, contributing to the organizations that he has seen him grow. be it generous donations to Infosys, NIT Warangal, through religious and spiritual initiatives, contributions to the education, or the development of his village way back in Andhra Pradesh. Over to Dr. Shastri. Please come over, sir.
That was a long introduction, actually. I don't think I deserve all that, but I have done some of them, of course, most of them. But Professor KP has been actually a mentor rather than being a consultant to us at MacMet. You know, as he introduced us, so I started MacMet with the 3 people, and then happened to expand it, and then I went to Indian Institute of Science, and the candidate whom I saw is Nagaraj. And Nagaraj just finished his master's, and asked him whether he would like to join. And Nagaraj joined us, and it was a real turning point because Nagaraj brought Professor Parthasarathy. Now, Professor Parthasarathy, whom I know, is during my Indian Institute of Science master's days. 1964, I joined Indian Institute of Science to do my master's, and I was doing with Professor M.D. Srinath. You know M.D. Srinath, of course. And KP was very much there, and he was, you know, in helping us in some of the problems for sure. But apart from that, you know, what it is we were all good friends in those days. It was not like a student professor, and you know, I was standing outside and will you be allowed, sir, may I come in? You know, all those things were not there. You know, we were all friends. We used to, as Professor Kincha was mentioning, you know, we used to have a cup of tea together, even spend evenings together. You know, it was the relationship in those days, I think, is something different, and which we really cherish. You know, we are very lucky. And maybe because of lack of computers and the mobiles, I suppose. You know, that's what made us to be more human and more closer. Because with these mobiles coming in, we even forgot writing letters. So forget about talking and meeting people, but most importantly, even writing a letter, we forgot actually with handwritten. Anyway, now we have to go with the stream, and we are going with the technology and everything, because those days we didn't have a computer, because Indian Institute of Science has the first Russian computer which was getting installed in those days still, when I was doing my master's. Anyway, so, but Professor Parthasarathy was a great human being more than anything else. He has the ability to keep people attached with him. Once you know him, I think it's very difficult to forget him. That's, I think, is a very, very one comment I just would like to make. Once you meet that gentleman, I think it's very difficult to forget him, because he makes an impact on you. Of course, you have to be at the receiving end to know what that impact is. You know, there are some people who meet and they just go away all right. But we are fortunate, and you know, with Nagaraj has worked with me for about 4 years, as you said, and then he moved over and became an entrepreneur. The only thing which I said is that you becoming entrepreneur under Dr. Parthasarathy, it's going to be a winning. There is no question of looking back, and it is indeed a winning combination. And he brought me as a consultant to, when I left Infosys, I became a consultant, and Nagaraj said, hey, we need quality, so why don't you come here and help us out. So at that time again, got together with Professor Parthasarathy in quite a few occasions, quite a few meetings. And I don't know, whether he used to, I mean, the expressions from him, the love and the affection that he shows is just amazing. When you meet him, you feel that your day is done. That sort of feeling, you get it. And we, of course, pray for his soul, wherever it is. I'm sure we need his blessings. I remember to have spoken to him 2 months ago, I think. I asked Nagaraj the number. He gave me and immediately spoke to him. He remembered. He remembered after so long, many years of not talking to him. He said, "Oh, Dr. Shastri, how are you doing and where are you?" and this, that and all that. So he's a great soul. And having said that, Naguro Rathikam Tattvam, Naguro Athikam Tattvam, Sattasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So, such gurus exist, such gurus existed, such gurus are there. Even Kincha is no less guru than him, I'm telling you. Professor Kincha, when I was so happy to see you this morning, I was really very, very pleased to see. So, very great feelings that we have for our professors, for our gurus, for our mentors, and those who have shown us the way to be. And I'm ever grateful to all these people. And I pray for Professor Parthasarathy's soul to be a very, very satisfied soul. We don't have to really do any big effort, because he's such a great soul. I'm sure even the gods would have been loving to have him there, I'm sure. And it is our privilege that he has been with us, and he has been interacting with, we were able to interact with him, and he blessed us. Thank you very much. And for all the people who have been associated with him here and who are not able to make it here, I am sure his blessings are always there, and we send all his blessings to them. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nagaraj, for calling.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shastri ji. Now we have with us Dr. Tukaram D, more commonly known as Professor DT at the Institute and among his students fraternity at the Power Systems community. Professor DT shared a special bond with Professor KP as a student, friend, confidant, and excellent technical collaborator. As the doctor was saying, they were a good combination from a technical point of view. Professor KP and DT were the kind of Laurel and Hardy in the institute. They jointly worked on several projects contributing largely to the Power Systems community. They fondly named their programs, which were quite popular, as KPDT programs in the country. I think Dr. Arun already touched about it. Professor Tukaram received his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Osmania University, Hyderabad, India in 1974. The MTech degree in integrated power systems from Nagpur University in 1976, and PhD degree from the Indian Institute of Science under Professor KP in 1986. Since 1976, he has been with the Institute as a research fellow, member of faculty in various positions, where since 2002, he has been a professor with the Department of Electrical Engineering. His research interests include computer-aided power system analysis, reactive power compensation, voltage instability, and artificial intelligence-based applications for the power systems. He retired from the Institute in 2018. Dr. Tukaram has authored and co-authored hundreds of technical publications that includes about 57 IEEE publications with nearly astounding 4,000 citations in the industry. Over to Dr. Tukaram, please.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. difficult for me to control my emotions. First time I met Professor in 1976. On January 5th, he spoke to me. I was not able to make out what he is trying to tell, but something worrying kind of a tone was there. I thought I will see him, and Monday, Tuesday has gone, and Wednesday I get a call that he is admitted to the hospital. I went to the hospital, and he is not opening his eyes, shaking only one leg and not talking anything, not opening the eyes in ICU. When I went at the year, I told, I have come. I am Tukaram. He tried to move his little bit mouth. Possibly he was little conscious that time. But he remained like that. And as I know some of the doctors, they mentioned, this may prolong for a long time like that. But he suffered, I hope, only for weekdays like that. And on 16th night, he expired. So 76 to 2024, continuous interaction. Of course, till his retirement, we are always together. I have so many memories to tell. Technically, he is a gold minister. He is a brilliant one. Any subject, anything challenging, let us do it. Okay. Very intelligent, wonderful memory. Anything is there. I used to tell some book, somebody is asking, I am giving to so and so like that. After some time, we don't know, we will search for it. But he will, in few minutes, he tell, oh, we gave to so and so on that day. So memory, he will recall something like that. Wonderful memory. Okay. And this memory, it was fresh, almost till he expired, till he became unconscious. His memory was like that. So he is not only gold medalist, by heart, he was a golden person. Okay. Anybody entering into the lab, far from any university coming as a student, Papa help Madonna. That is the attitude. Directly or indirectly, help, let us do it, this kind of a thing. So academically, many of the students, they have learned from him, okay. But his more contributions have been for the electrical utilities. Lot of challenging jobs he has been taking up. Because this 400 kV network in the country, which NTPC was thinking of, it was only on the paper. NTPC doesn't have a power station, no transmission line, nothing. It is only an organization on a paper. And the first power station which came with 400 kV line, as Professor Kijja mentioned, Obra Sultanpur to Lucknow. This was the first line. But these studies were done up. All electricity boards. This was worrying him. Okay. So as a challenge, this problem was taken up. And it is the electromagnetic transients program, which he has been working money on developments of that one. And nowhere it is there, and the originator is the Professor Domer. He was also developing with his students. So it was not available like that. he read the paper, why not we use this technique, and without that one we cannot do the studies. And at home, I used to go quite often to his house, okay. He had lunch and sat throughout the day. This is the paper. That is on single phase basis, he explained me. But this has to be done 3-phase for actual system, okay. And we started working on this one. Almost 3 months it took to get the first result, okay. This was in 79 when we got DEC 1090 system in ISC. Prior to that, IBM 360 and IIT Madras got IBM 370. We used to go to do the studies there. Professor Kincha, myself, Professor Ramakrishna Iyengar, all a team we used to go. And from high voltage, H.S. Chandrasekhara, like that. He used to form a team. And because everybody has a certain specialization, for lightning arrestor, Professor Nagbhushna, so that everybody collectively we can do these challenging type of problems. So he used to lead, okay? So his leadership, his hard working, that used to encourage us to do the things. That is the spirit of him. My early initial days, I was an early research student at that time. I got a letter from the electricity board. That is through the employment exchange, a offer. Many of my classmates, they joined, okay. And he said, what is this letter? So I gave him, he read that letter. And that letter he took it and dumped it in the waste box. He said, go bring those computer results. Because those days you have to go to the computer center and hard copy results you have to bring it. Okay, that is the type of computers that time. I never said anything. And he mentioned that is not the place for you to work. I don't know what he has in mind about. For many organizations he has worked, but I don't know what nature he has seen in me. He said that is not the place. So I continued to work. And the work what I have been doing, he made us to as a co-guide to many of the students. So slowly pass on the activities like that. I don't know how much we were able to do it. Okay, we attempted, but his encouragement helped us to carry on the work. Around 85, his health has little bit deteriorated. So then there was one event. He wanted to take voluntary retirement. This was a surprising. And his classmate, ME classmate, Professor Tatachar, is our colleague. He was a chairman that time. And Professor Tatachar from Mysore, from Bangalore University, and from Mysore during their ME. Their ME classmates, Kupurajulu, Etirajulu, many, they are all stalwarts that time, okay. And when this letter it came, he sent that one through his nephew. His senior brother's son brought that letter. And Professor Tatachar, he came to his room, okay. That day he is not there, but after 2 days when he came, he kept that letter pending and he convinced him not to ask for this retirement. And he said, you come occasionally because health fully till you recover, need not come daily. Okay, you can come whenever you feel like. But his mentoring was sufficient. Over the phone he used to call and take care of all projects, what is going on, etc. So anyway, he continued. And in 1997, he retired. I remember closely family side. I was not yet married. I was, because there were no quarters for us, I took a house in a Rajajinagar, a rented house. I had only a stool in my house. He came with Mukund was a small kid at that time. Because my parents came, so just to see my father, he came and asked my father to bless Mukund. So this was his closeness, the family side. And I had very closely, he was very much attached to Prema Parthasarathy, his wife. But she left much early, 20 years almost over. And after that he became alone, but he was not expressing anything. She had a thyroid operation like that in a hospital, or Victoria Hospital, known doctor, because in their family many people were there. So somehow her blood and my blood matches. So I gave her blood, and in the blood bank, the bottles are there, and the operation is about to start. And the operation is going on. When somebody came, where is the blood bottle like that? He was worrying. I told, forget about bottles, I am there here, again I can use blood. So I was there sitting with him. So we went to a temple and sat there. And his emotions, how much successful will this operation or not, he was worrying so much. But it was successful, and she was comfortable like that. But later, some stage, she had hip joint, some problems, etc. She did not recover. And her going away, this was a really, personally for him, was a great loss. I used to go to BMS college frequently because I was in their governing council, etc. So almost whenever I am going for the meeting, I will go and meet him there and spend sufficient time with him in his house. And he is alone. It is a giant family. His senior brother, mother, everybody used to be there. And his senior brother expired, mother expired. So his wife expired. He was alone. This was to be little bit pity, like that I used to tell him, okay, many times, don't stay alone like that. No, phone is there, like that he will tell. But anyway, he has spent those things. Anything is there, he will not express, he will not trouble anybody. That is his nature. Okay. He will not trouble anybody. So anyway, he did not suffer much. Only in ICU he has been there for some time. But the kind of heart he had, more than the students of IASC, he helped many more from any university. And for many electricity boards, many protection industries, etc. He was a mentor. We have all heard more details Professor Nagaraj has given like that. He was a golden person. Okay. I hope losing such type of soul with whom we have spent is an unbearable loss. Only thing I pray God for his Sadgati. That's all I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor DT. Now we have with us Dr. Balaraman Kannan, who has been associated with Professor for over 3 decades since his days at KEB as an engineer. Professor was his mentor and was instrumental in enrolling him to the PhD program. And he is closely associated with Professor while with being general manager at Power Research and Development Consultants. He was heading the System Studies Division of PRDC. He had very closely worked with KP on dynamic studies and over voltage studies. Dr. Balram is currently a freelancer and a researcher. Besides heading Power Systems Studies Division of PRDC at Bangalore, he has held key prestigious positions in government and non-governmental organizations, including Director General of National Institute of New and Renewable Energy under the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, Executive Director at Indian Infrastructure Advisory Private Limited, and also, as you know, KEB, erstwhile. Apart from being a transmission specialist, he is an expert in renewable energy sector, preparing standards and grid code for national as well as international grid interconnection and operations. He is a recipient of Outstanding Engineer Award by IEEE-PES in 2016. He has published over 60 research papers in national and international journals and conferences. Dr. Balram has guided over 2,000 projects, which includes students pursuing doctoral degree, master's degree, and bachelor's degree. And to his credit, he has about 5,000 lectures being delivered in India and abroad. So over to Dr. Balram, please.
Thank you, Ramesh. So good afternoon. It's very difficult to be there and speak over Professor. So I always call him as a Pitamaha of power sector. And under him, it's like thousands or millions students, and the way he has made the people to work on the subject is amazing. So if I want to put my tag as a doctor today, his entire credit should go to him. Because after my master's, after 10 years of my bachelor's, I joined master's in NIE. And during the project, I met him. So I just first met him in '97, and then during my project for NIE Mysore, after 10 years of bachelor's, I went to MTech. And then he said, after the thing, why can't you go for PhD? I said, I don't know, sir, what to do. Then again, when VTU called for application, again he said, because APN was his student, so why can't you take it or you go to IAC? I said, sir, I'm constructing my house and it will be difficult. Paying fees is a problem for you, don't worry. He said, 4 semesters fees he paid. From where he got, I don't know. He said, don't bother about that. That's how I got my degree today. I'm standing as a Dr. Balram here. His entire credit should go to him. So his passing away definitely is a big void, and the privileges, what he used to be and what he used to deliver to the things is amazing. He is not merely a teacher, and his essence of philosopher, a relentless seeker of truth who inspired the countless others to embark in the journey of power system. And very importantly is Dr. Nagaraj already talked about the kind of a legacy is created, the generations and generation of researchers. You never know the kind of a lineage he has taken. So almost from my own lineage, I can say around 6 generations past. So this is kind of an amazing, you will never see anywhere else. The kind of inspiration you are going to draw from him, the kind of things, and again, at the end of the day, very humble. You can never see any person like humble like him, like what Dr. Nagaraj said, the moment you meet him, you forget everything else. That's a kind of the persona he was, and the way he made the people to work, you never know that you are going to work. That's amazing, because he makes you to work, but you never know that you are going to work on that. Because you are going to be mesmerized the way he is making you to work, and you forget about your sleep or anything, you just forget it. Night 12 o'clock or night 1 o'clock, he will be available with you, and he will going to guide you to do that particular one. That's a kind of an attitude which we never see anywhere else. I'm very, very fortunate. I always say I'm very blessed. He was my mentor, and he is initiated to PhD, and I got my PhD degree from his own student, Professor Kincha. He was the ATO vice chancellor at the time. So we are the first batch of students to get a degree certificate. I'm very fortunate to get from Professor Kincha my certificate on PhD. So that's a kind, I always say, yes, I'm definitely privileged to get, at least see this like going near to the God. I don't know whether anybody has seen a God, but I have seen him as a God. He's a person, because whatever you want to get, you needed to ask for it. You will get it. That's the kind of attitude what I got it. So very sad. At the same time, yes, it is a Punaravi Jananam, Punaravi Maranam. This is always going to be there. But one thing I can always say that his soul is so noble, definitely would have reached Vaikuntham at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Thanks, sir. And it is what more to attain Satkati. And definitely, we pray it or not, he is already in Vaikuntham at the feet of Lord Krishna. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Balram. Now, I think Dr. Aryan already covered. We are running short of time. We'll try to make it as soon as possible. And online, we have a few speakers. One is Dr. Pandian, and Dr. Aryan already covered in his presentation about Dr. Pandian. I don't have much to say. He was one of the most favorite students of Dr. Parthasarathy, and today he has made very good, successful career, and he was also with the PRDC for some time as a director of Embedded Systems Department, and he was responsible for development of several hardware and relays also in the embedded systems. And today he is a CTO at Mahindra Technologies, which is based out, of India, but he is the head of the California department, the California branch in the US. Dr. Pandian, I don't know if he is able to hear me. Let me put you on.
Yeah, thanks. Can you hear me, Ramesh?
Yeah, very clear and loud, sir. Yeah, I'm doing it. Oh. Just a second. Shankar, konja full screen pannunga man. Hold on, sir. Pin pannit full. Pin. It's all right. I think there is some technical glitch. We are not used to hosting this G-Meet. We are unable to make you full screen, but you are very much visible. About 25% of the screen is occupied by you. People are able to see and listen to you. You can go ahead, sir. Dr. Pandian, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Ramesh. I'll also make it short. My association with Professor KP, it started in 1989 when he hired me as the laboratory assistant in his power system and parallel processing lab. And then I was a laboratory assistant under him till 94. Then 94 to 97, he was my PhD guide. Then I was working with him in PRDC from 97 to 99. Those 10 years of 89 to 99 were the golden years and the best in my life and my career. So we all know Professor KP is visionary, he is highly intellectual, but he is very simple, down to earth, and his humanity levels were unparalleled. And while he has actually impacted many lives directly or indirectly, to me, he was more than guru, mentor, and advisor. He was actually a father to me. And there are many things which he actually impacted me, did to my life during those 10 years, either in terms of getting me in a research position in IISc, even though I was not eligible because I didn't have the right degree. And he went to the director and then he looked at the way institute was set up when IISc was formed, and he actually got an acceptance for my PhD. But unfortunately, I couldn't pursue because of various reasons from my side, and getting me an extraordinary study leave to pursue my master's. And then when I mentioned to him I want to do PhD, and he was actually deciding to take voluntary retirement at the time, and he actually withdrew that, and then I became his last student when he was in IISc. So, I mean, there are a lot of things which Professor KP has impacted me, and what I am today is because of him. And while he's not there to meet him or talk to him, but he will be my eternal guide forever. And thank you. Thanks, Dr. Natarajan Mukund, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, now we have one of the students of Professor Parthasarathy again. Yeah, it is Dr. Raghunatha Ramaswamy. No, he also had, I think Dr. Aryan already told us about Dr. Raghunath being his Sarathi for many years. He used to pick him up from his house and then put him back in his house in the evening after the job. So he is the same Dr. Raghunatha Ramaswamy. Yeah, Dr. Raghunath was associated with Professor KP for a long time, and he has been a developer at PRDC as well. Of late, he was a professor at BNMIT Institute in Bangalore, and he has now retired and spending his peaceful days. Dr. Raghunath, can you come on? He is online. He is unfortunately not able to be present personally.
Yes, can you hear me, Ramesh?
Yeah, absolutely, sir. Clear. It's quite clear. You can go ahead.
See, from morning, I have already heard what Dr. Nagaraja, Professor Kincha, Professor Tukaram, Dr. Shastri have all said. What else I can add to that is surprising to me. I can only say my 30 plus years of power systems engineering career was based on only one single factor, and that was Professor KP. If Professor KP had not decided to support me during my MBA project and subsequently introduced me to his other student, Dr. Ramanujan, and then also took me as an external student for the PhD guidance and helped me to complete my PhD along with Professor Tukaram, who was always a team even for my MBA project to PhD. Professor Tukaram was also there. to help me out. In fact, Professor Tukaram helped me how to write technical papers, which I never knew how to do that. And these two people team helped me to establish me and get a recognition as a power systems engineer. Later, Professor Parthasarathy spoke to Dr. Nagarajan, who absorbed me into PRDC and sent me to Sugarland ABB at Texas. And I returned back, and based on the foundation they provided, I could start on my own as a freelance consultant. I never joined to any work, and I could stand on my own because of the foundation provided by these people. What I most appreciate with Professor Parthasarathy is I've never seen a professor, another professor, who is free from ego when dealing with students. The 40 minutes time by scooter when I picked him from his Hanumant Nagar home to Indian Stock Science to his department, I must have asked 40 different technical questions, and sitting back from the backside, he used to answer 40 questions, and this went on for years. Okay, that's patience. I can imagine when I went to meet my professor at NIA Mysore, I have to stand outside their room and wait till they call me inside. And even on the inside, I have to stand inside their room and they will speak just one moment with me. But with Professor Parthasarathy, I could easily have tea, coffee, biscuits, everything, whatever he was eating, he used to share without any bothering. The first time I went to his home was as a total stranger. The first thing, and I went to his home, that's where I met him first time at night 8 p.m. When I asked him, I want to meet Professor Parthasarathy, he simply directly invited me into his home, made me to sit next to him, asked me the purpose for which I have come to his home. I could never imagine another professor doing all these things. I have been working for Alstom, Honeywell, CPRI, and many other companies. I know how people treat other people in different places. But I have never seen this one kind of personality in my entire life. The influence he had was so much, you could have asked me anything and I could never have refused that. But the thing is, all favors only flowed from him to me, and he never misused his influence over me by asking any favor in the reverse direction. Okay, that I observe many people are just mortals because they try to help me in return of something from me. It was not like that with Professor Parthasarathy. And even with Professor Tukaram also, who was his right hand, I have received similar help from him on academic side. Professor Parthasarathy has helped me both academically and also in my career. I cannot, I can never repay such that. Okay, I can never express my gratitude through words, but his memory will always remain with me. I may not have met him during his last years, but that does not mean that I don't remember him. Without remembering him, I never did any work also. he provided the necessary foundation for me to survive on my own. That was most important. Okay, he made me a power systems engineer, and without him, I would never have become a power systems engineer. That was another sure guaranteed. Okay, I can only pray for his soul to be at rest and pray for the strength for his families and thank Dr. Nagaraja for providing me an opportunity to speak this by arranging this meeting. Thank you very much. Namaskaras to every one of you for the patience with which you are hearing whatever I am saying. And I thank you very much once again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Raghunath. Yeah. Professor Tripathi ji, would you like to say something? Professor Ashok Kumar Tripathi ji?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Everybody had spoken about KP. I have very few things to tell. I was a contemporary of Professor Khincha. He was only 2 years senior to me, and I'm at least 15 years senior to Nagaraj. And I have seen Dr. Parthasarathy taking classes for us. I will tell you an experience. I think when we joined MTech, these few lectures that were given in beginning, one by Tata sir, who would talk of control system which will go over our heads. In one paper in high voltage, Guru Raj used to take, he would ask more questions than teaching. Then Joseph Vidyathil, he would teach very advanced power electronics, which again was too difficult to understand for the beginner. Then there was a change to Parthasarathy, who used to tell us about power system and stability and protection. And we all waited for this class to happen so that something enters our head. Yeah, Institute was maintaining a very high standard in all the subjects those days. I was one of the members who have worked with the network analyzer, what Professor Khincha told, in the group of four, what he mentioned. I was lucky to do my project also. Dr. Parthasarathy was not my exact guide, but Professor Khincha and Ashok Kumar took care of us. But once I met him, I told he is a professor and he is supposed to be my official guide. After 3 months of my MTech thesis work, I met him in his chamber. I told, sir, I have not met you since, but I wanted to tell you what I am doing. Then he told, if you would have been meeting me, then I would have a apprehension that you are not doing anything. That you have not met me shows me that, don't worry, Professor Khincha and Ashok Kumar are keeping me briefed. You are doing good work, carry on. That was the end of conversation in that session. He was such a simple person and he knew so much. Believe me, when he was talking from my first book, Elevate and Stag on power system analysis, that time computer application was just getting introduced. I was wondering whether the book is ahead of the professor or professor is ahead of the book. And those days we were loading IBM 360 and using the computer. But when Kincha and professor were teaching us the quadrilateral characteristic of distance protection and conical characteristic, I never knew that those were the first publications in that field in the world in transactions. And afterwards, I came to know, okay, we learned it in MTech classes, and the real paper and other things I came to know only after 2 3 years when they were published on their names. Once I will just keep my talk brief. I have worked on his principles throughout, and when a chance came to go nearer to institute and KP as a DG of CPRI, I never lost that opportunity. I was there for 5 years, very close to them. Nagaraj has been close to me for last 30 years, and we know each other's work, and all that has happened in India today that we can boast that in power system at least, India can say that a lot of very learned and internationally famous power system engineers have been given to the world by India, including Kundur, Pai, and others. All of them belong to a class, and KP also stands out as one of the top in that. So I am very proud to be a power system engineer like Ramaswamy and all that. We have given to the world substantial input in high voltage and power system engineering, thanks to very learned and very path-breaking work done by power system engineers. If KP has done two very good things, he has produced Nagaraj and Kicha, who are outstanding engineers themselves and contributed to all areas. I sometimes jokingly tell my friends, I was in the board of KPCL and KPTCL also. KP stands for Karnataka Power, although it is Parthasarathy, but the way he has been instrumental in building Karnataka as one of the front runners in power system applications, including the SCADA, including the implementation of automation and the guidance he has given to power system analysis throughout the country. I think I salute to him. I think he was a tall man, too tall for me to have very great interaction with him, but I have been very impressed and influenced by his work. Thanks, all of you. Thanks for inviting Nagaraj.
Thank you, Tripathi. Thank you very much for expressing your thoughts and sharing the memories of Professor KP. Now, I would like to invite if anybody else here on the floor, if they would like to speak, we have a couple of minutes. Agarwal ji, please आइए. JP Agarwal from Vice President of Jindal, ex-Vice President, and he was associated as a senior consultant with Power Research and Development Consultants for a long time. Here we go with JP Agarwal.
Namaskar to all of you. I was not fortunate enough to have worked with Professor KP, but his influence was always there when I was working with PRDC. One thing which country will always remember, you see, when I joined Rourkela, it is a big system. Now, nobody actually in Rourkela steel plant, no engineer could tell how the relay settings has been done. Only answer I could get at that time when I was just working with the engineer, that the Germans have done something, I think it must be all right. Now, I was just searching that how the relay settings have to be done. And I think PRDC has done a wonderful job by introducing the PRDC system. And now all power systems in the industry can be proud of adjusting their relays. And I must tell you that basic work of electrical engineer in the department is to get the relay setting properly. That is the biggest job which he has got. And now PRDC has given the tool to the engineers to set them properly and in a coordinated manner. Thanks to, I think, thanks to Professor Parthasarathy. Of course, I had the occasion to work with him for, they talked to him for some few minutes sometimes. That was the only association I had with him. But so nice of him, is very good, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Agarwal ji. Anybody else? Mr. Shivaram is the director of, founder director of Proc Devices. He has had a long association with PRDC. Under the leadership of Professor KP, as Dr. Arun was saying, there were many relay hardwares developed. Dr. Parthasarathy was involved in development of algorithms of overcurrent relay, overvoltage relay, and earth leakage relay as well, I think. So over to Mr. Shivaram, please.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamuduchyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿವಸ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕು. ಗುರುವಿಗೆ ಗುಲಾಮನಾಗುವ ತನಕ ದೊರೆಯದನಗೆ ಮುಕುತಿ. It was a travel, a journey. 1986, I joined IISc. I was so fortunate to get a guru for me. I was absolutely raw when I joined IISc. God made man, man made tailor, tailor made man, gentleman. I was so fortunate. ನನ್ನ ರಾ ಇದನ್ನು ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಟು ಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಂಥ ಏಕೈಕ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಕೆ ಪಾರ್ಥಸಾರಥಿ. ಟುಡೇ ಅವರು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದೇಹ ಪ್ರಕೃತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆತ್ಮ ವೈಕುಂಠಕ್ಕೆ ಶಿವನ ಪಾದ ಸೇರಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅವರ ಮೂಲಕ ಅವರ ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ಹಂಚಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಐ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಹಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಸೇ ದಟ್ ಶೇರ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆಲ್ತ್. ಸೊ ಹಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಸೇ 1986 ನನ್ನ ಜರ್ನಿ till now, I was just going in my bike. I was going through, Raghuram used to bring Professor Parthasarathy. I was just a diploma holder when I joined my BMS college. Evening college join agide. Evening college ನನಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯ. I used to drop Professor K. Parthasarathy. Starting from IAC till Veena stores ಇಂದ ಶುರುವಾಗೋದು. I was so happy. I was transformed today with the goddess of knowledge through Professor. And my travel ಬಂದಾಗ ವೀಣಾ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಸಿಂದ ಅವ್ರ ಮನೆ ತನಕ ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್, BMS ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ವಾಸ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ನಿಯರ್ ಟು ಹಿಸ್ ಹೌಸ್. ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಅಂಗಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸೋರು. ಹಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಮೀ ಒಂದು ಬರ್ಫಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕೊಬ್ಬರಿ ಮಿಠಾಯಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಸೋ ದಿಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಷನೇಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್. ಇವತ್ತು ಈ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ ನನಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು 2-3 ವರ್ಷ ಟು ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಹಿಮ್, ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ನನ್ನ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯ. ಈ 2 ವರ್ಷದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅನ್ಫಾರ್ಚುನೇಟ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಎವ್ರಿ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಡೇ ವಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಹಿಮ್. September 5th, I still remember last 2 years back, I went to his ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು I just thanked him. Whatever I am here, it's all because of you. ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ he nurtured us. 1996, I went to his house in the evening. It so happened with one Mr. Raj Mohan. He was coding, I think he was doing in Fortran and Pascal. Sir, ಏನು ಸರ್ ಈ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ಆರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್? ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ನಾನು ಮರಿಬಾರ್ದು, I should not forget my job. So that inspired me. The inspiration which I got was enormous from him. Ee age nalli, with all this inspiration he has, let me take something from him. What I took was all that knowledge, which it's a think tank. ಆ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ದೈಹಿಕವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲರ ಈ ಜ್ಞಾನದ ಮೂಲಕ ಇಡೀ ಇಂಡಿಯಾನಲ್ಲಿ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ಡ್ ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಸ್ಟೀಲ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್, ಸಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್, ಮೈನಿಂಗ್. ಇನ್ವೇರಿಯಬಲಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ IAC ಅಂತ ದೇ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಟೆಲ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ IAC ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಕೆ ಪಾರ್ಥಸಾರಥಿ ಅವರ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸಚ್ ಎ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್. ಐ ಗಾಟ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ವಾರ್ಮ್ ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಂಥ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಇರುವಂಥ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಸಚ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ರೈಡ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಗಾಟ್ ದಟ್. ಇದು ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಿಯಾಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ ಬೋರ್ಡ್, ಸ್ಟೀಲ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್, ಸಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್, ಸಚ್ ಅ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ರೆಕಗ್ನಿಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮೈ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ, for this Indian Institute of Science. Inta noble man who was so simple, absolutely ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ನಾನ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರವರ್ಷಿಯಲ್. I was going through, I'm very thankful to see Professor D. Tukaram and Professor Kincha, Dr. Shenoy, and undoubtedly many people who are in the field of academicians. It so happened 400 KV ಇದರಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿರೋರು ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ಕರೆದ್ರು. He called me, Shivram, can you 220 volts ಪ್ಲಗ್ ಹಾಕಕ್ಕೆ ಭಯ. ಆ 220 volts ನೀವು ಇದನ್ನ ಪ್ಲಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಸರ್ ನೀವು ಏನು ಸರ್, ಯು ಆರ್ ಎನ್ ಅಥಾರಿಟಿ, ಈ 220 volts ಹಾಕಕ್ಕೆ ಭಯ. ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ನೋ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಹಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಸೇ ದಟ್ ಯು ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆನ್. ದೆನ್ ಹಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಹೆಂಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಫರ್ದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಟೆಡ್. ದಿ ಒನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿ ಓನ್ಲಿ PRDC, that was our Dr. Nagaraj is so fortunate to go with Professor Parthasarathy, so that for all these years And I'm sure he's the right student and the right guruge right student agi. Undoubtedly, Mukund also, when we were associated with PRDC, it was a very beautiful experience. In fact, all my sincere pranams, thanks to Professor K. Parthasarathy. And I don't know, may the soul attains Sadgati. ಅವರ ಇವತ್ತೊಂದು ದಿವಸ ನನಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂಥ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ಗೆ ನಮನಗಳು. ಸೊ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಸೇರಿಸ್ತಾ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಆತ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಶಾಂತಿ ಕೋರ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಅವರ ಕುಟುಂಬಕ್ಕೂ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ವಿ ಪ್ರೇ ದಿ ಕಂಡೋಲೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಟು ದಿ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shivaram. No, it was really wonderful to know that your kind of association you had and kind of inspirations you gained out of Professor KP. Yeah, Mr. Jagannath would like to speak. Mr. Jagannath was the chief engineer at the Karnataka Power Transmission Corporation, and he was associated with PRDC for a long time and with Professor KP for a very, very long time. As you know, since KEB, now Mr. Jagannath was associated with Professor KP. Please come, sir. And he was also a senior consultant for power research and development. Yeah, for almost 10 years with PRDC. Please come, sir.
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Now we have heard so many intellectual people, professors, everybody who are associated with Parthasarathy. But I had a very good experience with Mr. Parthasarathy when I was in planning section in KPTCL, KEB, then KEB. I was only a small person, assistant executive engineer. But there were many problems in the KPTCL transmission network and also the whole southern region. For every problem, I used to go to Mr. Parthasarathy in the Institute of Science. And first day when I went him and waited for outside to get his permission, he told me not to wait for my permission. You are always walk into my chamber whenever I am here. That was a great thing. And when we posed any problem, he used to analyze it and give us a solution. For no charge. He never charged anything for it, KPTCL. So many things. Almost every month we used to go to him. During that time, just imagine, during late 80s, that is 88, 89, and also in the beginning of 90s, the system in the southern region was so worst. The voltage at Bangalore, 400 kV was only 350. At 60 kV, it was only 55 kV. 90 kV. This was the problem. And at least once in a month, the whole southern region was out breakdown. Breakdown means restore power supply to southern region. It used to take 1.5 to 2 hours. This was the condition then. For him, we went there. He wanted all the network details. And he furnished it, including network details of Andhra Pradesh, so Tamil Nadu, and also Kerala. He analyzed it. He gave a suggestion. Of course, it took a long time for even Power Corporation, also KEB and other states, to restore those things. And finally, now we are happy. That is his contribution. And during those days, we were analytically analyzing all these network details by TI-squared method, TIR drop, all these things. We didn't have any software. Once I remember in 1999, I retired and joined there as a technical advisor to CMD PRDC. Then KP Singh was the chairman of the KPTC. And he asked me how to solve this problem. how to improve the network. Nowadays, whenever a politician comes to us, he demanded that due to low voltage and poor voltage conditions, a substation has to be established. He wanted a systematic analyzation on what are the problems to be, how the problems are to be solved. Then I suggested him, we didn't have the software, we are doing only electrical calculations, but we require a software. Then board took a decision that software from international software to be procured. And we floated a short-time tender for about 4 or 5 people, including EDF plans, everything. They quoted, lowest quota was 135 lakhs, I remember, EDF, for providing a software and giving training to 6 people up front. When it came, chairman asked me what to do. I only told him, sir, 135 lakhs ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡೋ ಮೊದಲು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೇ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಇದೆ, PRDCಯಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೈ ಪವರ್ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್. ಅದು ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ ಆಗೇ ಇದ್ದರೆ ದೆನ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೋ ಇನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಬೈ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ 135 lakhs. ದೆನ್ ಬೈ ದಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ PRDC ಹತ್ರ ಒಂದು ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿ ಫಾರ್ 10 lakhs. 10 lakhs. So, chairman suggested me to call both Dr. Parthasarathy and also Dr. Nagaraj. They came, we had a discussion. Even I remember Group 7 finance member was also there. They said, can you give some discount? Parthasarathy said, sir, this is my state, Karnataka state. Even if you don't pay anything, at free of cost we can provide it. He said, no, we have to pay something. Then how much you can reduce? The Vestrado Kode Parayla will provide software and give solutions onto this. I think I remember finally they agreed for 5 lakhs. And also, then our finance member asked, give 2 licenses. They agreed for it. I think Nagaraj also remembered it. 2 licenses were given. We were trained by deputing somebody, some expert from PRDC. We learned everything what is in a network software. We got so many solutions. We prepared a perspective transmission system for 10 years. And also Parthasarathy and Dr. Nagaraj guided us very well. Even that book, what are the substations, what are the transmission strengthening to be done for next years, every year, what are the things to be done. It was a Bible for KEB, then KPTC subsequently became KPTCL. That was a Bible and they followed it. And the network is very good. One thing I want to tell, somewhere during 90s, our transmission losses, we roughly calculated by analytical calculation, it was of 18.5%. Now today, KPTCL transmission network losses has come down to 2.9%. This is a great thing. That is what we learned from Parthasarathy and also Dr. Nagaraj. They never cared for the money. Parthasarathy was telling repeatedly, I am a citizen of Karnataka state. I provide all my resources, everything, to improve the transmission system in Karnataka, southern region, and also core of Karnataka. That was his thing. That is. One thing on technical aspect, these things are there. On other thing, as already told by some people, is a great philanthropist. ಅವರಿಗೆ ರಾಗದ್ವೇಷ ಮೋಹ ಏನೂ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. I can tell you, he was ಜೀವನ್ ಮುಕ್ತ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅವರು ಅಷ್ಟು ದಿವಸ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬಾಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಯಾವ ವಿಧಾದಂಥ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. He's just a pure man with a pure heart. That is why, as Dr. Nagaraj has already told, he waited for Mutlake, that is ಪುಣ್ಯಕಾಲ, ಉತ್ತರಾಯಣ ಪುಣ್ಯಕಾಲ. ಉತ್ತರಾಯಣ ಪುಣ್ಯಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ದೇಹ ತ್ಯಜಿಸಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಖಂಡಿತ ವೈಕುಂಠಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರುತ್ತಾರೆ, ಸತ್ಯಲೋಕಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರುತ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ. ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ತೃಪ್ತಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಅವರ ಆತ್ಮ ಶಾಂತಿ ಸಿಗಲಿ, ಅವರು ವೈಕುಂಠದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿರಲಿ ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆದರೆ ಅವರು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಸ್ವರ್ಗ ಸೇರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರ ದೇಹಗಳನ್ನು ದೇಹ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಫಾಲೋ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಸ್, ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jagannath. Yeah, after hearing all of you, I think we have come to an end. Before I call upon, just a second. It's okay. Well, before I invite, we have heard about the professionals and students and his associates speak about him so far, and before I call upon Mr. Sridhar and his son, Mr. Mukund, to speak on their behalf of the family, after hearing of all about your experiences, I'm not able to stop myself saying a couple of lines from my side. Well, I'm Ramesh, and I and Mukund studied together in the college, and we used to go to his house in 1994. It's about 30 years ago, for group studies. And as Professor D.T. and Dr. Raghunath was talking about how passionate and how he treats people. I don't know how many understand Tamil. He used to call his wife Prema Parthasarathy, Ramesh Vandirka Konduvadi, sweets Konduvadi. That means Ramesh has come. Ramesh is very fond of sweets. Bring some sweets for him. That is the way he used to. And and another most humble thing and very down to earth. First time when I met him, I did not know he is a scientist from ISC and he is an electrical engineer. I heard him talking about he had a joint family. The first floor he had his elder brother, and ground floor was the elder brother, and first floor was Professor KP. They had a common water pump, and it was and the control system was in the ground floor, the double switch, DP switch or whatever. So I heard them talking about, it's very difficult going down, up and down every time to switch on the motor and switch off. Let's have a parallel connection. So I went, sat beside him and started explaining him the circuitry of how to. He patiently listened. I didn't know he is a professor, I drew the circuitry, and Mukund called me aside. Hey, come on, man, he is an electrical engineer and a scientist. You don't do this. I said, I didn't know. So that was one incident, which talks about how down to earth and how open he was. And one last thing I would like to remember. So he is so passionate about work. He used to say me, tell me that, Ramesh, I want to, die doing coding. I don't want anything else in life. So that is the kind of passion he had for work, and kind of, as Mr. Jagannath was saying, he was not expecting anything. Yeah, I should say this, karmane mapaleshu karmane vadikaryasya mapaleshu kadachana, what they say very aptly suits this man. He doesn't expect anything from anybody. He always gives. So that's about it. And I would like to invite Mr. Sridhar from, his being his relative and also professionally associated with him. Yeah, please.
First of all, I should thank Dr. Nagaraj for having sent me invitation today. One thing about my uncle, very early days, I want to express. I think it was about 7th class or 8th class. Results came and he went home. It was in Tumkur. he was not talking to anybody, and everybody was worried why he is doing all this. Then next day, my grandparents came to know that he got second. He did not eat for 2 or 3 days. So that was, he wanted to always become first. That was only his second. Always later, everything was first. BSc first, ET first, ME first, and of course, doctorate and other things. It has taken 5 years for it. All that fine. I think regarding CPRA Association, he was governing council member from 1987 or Babu, 1987 to 1997. It is a matter of 3 years post for governing council from the CPRA side. CPRA nominates professors from IISc, IIT, like that, and he was there. Dr. Ramurthy nominated Professor Parthasarathy, and he accepted, he was there. When he retired in 1997, he made it sure that he is no longer associated with CPRA, because that was the end of his career at IISc. After retirement, that post is only for professor. Afterwards, no, I am a simple man and I don't want to get associated. He told me more than 3-4 times. At that time, Mr. Parameswaran was the director. I used to go and tell him, sir, please take note of this, and then suggest the Director General. At that time, Pillai was there, and I think up to 98 he was government member. That is, see, he was so sincere that as long as I am holding the post of professor at IISc, I can be the governing council member. So he was like that. And with me, we never worked as, we were not, he was my maternal uncle. We were more like brothers rather than mama and the nephew. And always, whenever we used to go to hotel, he only will pay. And he was fond of one item in Vidyarthi Bhavan, that is Rave Vade. In our young days, he used to give me 1 or 2 rupees. Go and bring. At 6 o'clock evening, Rave Vade hot will be prepared by Vidyarthi Bhavan. And I used to live in Hanuman Nagar. We used to run a kilometer and then bring it. 10 paisa, 1 vada in those days. So his liking was it. And he never used to eat more than half or 3/4. So his eating was less. He always wanted people to enjoy, and he always used to encourage us. Everything was good with him. And I am only the fortunate, I think, on the day of his departure, morning 6:30, he phoned me. He was worried about, Dr. Nagaraj was telling, regarding life certificate and other things. Last year, 2025 life certificate, I had filled up, and he went to IISc and submitted. What to do? Then I told, don't worry, bank manager will come to you and recognize. So he was trying. Unfortunately, he has fallen on that day. Otherwise, he would not have gone. But we are all happy that he has attained Sadgati, and we never wanted him to come back in a very difficult position. So he passed away peacefully on 16th January, and he's definitely a God to us. Only this much, I express my sincere this one. I always see so many praises, so many PhD students. Directly and indirectly, lakhs of people are benefited. Thanks one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sridhar. Well, we have with us remotely joining Professor S.A. Soman from IIT Powai, Mumbai. Professor Soman, can you hear me? I think your
Yes,
mic
sir,
is not. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah, you are visible on the screen and your voice is loud and clear. You can go ahead. We have a couple of minutes for you. We have come to the end of the program.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Uh, so, I mean, I know most of the, I know most of you here in the. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, very clear and loud. You can go ahead.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So I am known. I know most of you here, so I don't have to introduce myself. Um, I was in IISc from 1990 to 1996 and worked with Professor Parthasarathy and Professor Tukaram for in my masters and PhD. And I mean, he was a very kind person, and many times I felt like he looked like Ramana Maharshi. You know, he has some very similarity in his face with Ramana Maharshi, and he was also very joyous and a smiling person. I mean, I remember once that my father, he had come and I had taken him to Professor Parthasarathy, and my father had said that he is a very bright person. My father himself is an electrical engineer in BHEL, and he could immediately recognize and say that. And he was so helpful. You know, I had some difficulties in my masters, and he helped me through the project. And then the PhD was, of course, a very beautiful experience, and the atmosphere in the laboratory was also so very good because of him. So, and I do attest to that, that when we used to go to his house for you know, some discussion and all that, madam used to give us dosa and very good food and all that. You know, it used to happen. So and we are going to miss him a lot, but I think we are happy that he had a good life till the end, and all of us have to go. So I mean, it's okay in that sense. You know, we have to accept it and move on and do the way he used to do things to the best of our ability. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Professor Soman. Yeah, well, we have come to the end of the program, and I would like to invite Mr. Mukund, his son, Professor's only son, to come over and have a few words. Come.
Yeah, good afternoon. I think I'll make it very brief. First of all, thank you all. And thank you, sir, for having this opportunity. I mean, yeah, some of them, like Kincha sir and Tukaram sir, I know them from childhood. I mean, they've been coming to her house and been meeting them. Yeah, on behalf of the family, myself, Soumya, Abhay and Amulya, and of course Sridhar, we thanks Professor, Professor family, we thanks MD sir and all the students. Thank you for this opportunity. I mean, thank you. Thanks.
Well, we are at the brink of the program. I would like to thank each one of you for actively participating and sharing your wonderful thoughts and sweet memories about Professor. Thank you once again. So the lunch is ready. I would like to request all of you to have lunch before we disperse. Thank you so much. Anand, which way is the lunch? Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for all the online participants, Dr. Pandian, Professor Soman, and Dr. Raghunath Ramaswamy, and Ashok Kumar Tripathi ji. Yeah, thank you very much. So we are ending the meeting here. Thank you so much again.